Hey guys, what's going on? I hope you're all having a great day today. So recently I made a video on Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight, and I talked about how absurd the system requirements and recommended specs for the game were. Now, a lot of other people also made videos talking about how ridiculous these requirements were, and a ton of people tweeted about it and stuff like that, and it turns out the Lego fanboys are not too happy about that. But before we go ahead and get into the meat and potatoes of today's video and take a look at the fanboy responses to everyone criticizing the recommended specs, let's go over what the recommended and minimum specs actually are. For the minimum, you need an Intel Core i5 9600K or an AMD Ryzen 5 3600. You need 16 gigabytes of RAM, and for the minimum graphics card, you need an RTX 2070 or AMD RX 5700 XT, or of course the Intel Arc A770. For the recommended, you have an Intel Core i7 12700K or AMD Ryzen 7 7700X. You have 32 gigabytes of RAM, and for the graphics card, you have a 3080 or a 6800 XT. Now that we went over the absurd requirements and recommended specs to play a children's video game, let's go over some fanboy defenses. It all started when a person by the name of Lemur, Jake the Lemur, tweeted, "The left is the requirements for LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga, the right is the requirements for LEGO Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight. What the actual fuck are we doing here, guys?" Graphic Design is Suffering replies, "Actual requirements. Both support a GPU that's around 8 years old by the time it released, so yeah, there's definitely no optimization, eye roll emoji, but hey, people just want to be mad at UE5, right?" This looks like a good argument on the surface, until you realize that the 8 years leading up to Skywalker Saga's release in 2022, and the 8 years leading up to Legacy of the Dark Knight's release in 2026, the amount that technology has advanced in that amount of time is completely different. Technology advanced a lot more in the years leading up to 2022 than the years leading up to 2026. And you just have to love how upset he gets over people disliking Unreal Engine 5. Yeah, when most games that come out on an engine run like shit, people will tend to dislike that engine. Who would have thought? You don't really need a PhD in common sense to figure that one out. Jay says, "You're crying over a LEGO game?" You gotta love this, man. Whenever you point out a problem with a certain game, there's always someone in the comment section, "Oh, you're just crying, dude. Like, are we not allowed to criticize things? Do we just have to eat up every single piece of slop we're given?" Squishy Bandit 12 says, "Big boy games have big boy specs. Lego Batman isn't for some milk-chugging babies," and Lemur makes a perfect reply to this, saying, "I don't know if you know this, but Lego games are rated E and E10+, which means they are indeed for milk-chugging babies and the big boys. And now, I think he meant to say no, Lego games should have that high of requirements." Aragon Frost says, "Recommended specs versus minimum required specs. Reading is hard." You do realize that recommended specs are usually what's required to play a game at a decent frame rate and not have it chug like shit. And even in a lot of cases where you do meet the recommended specs, like Monster Hunter Wilds with its 2060 soup, the game still runs like shit. Also, it doesn't give people very good confidence when your recommended specs for your LEGO Batman game is the same as the notoriously unoptimized Borderlands 4. On the left, I have the spec recommendations for Borderlands 4. On the right, I have the spec recommendations for LEGO Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight. In fact, you can see the Ryzen processor that they recommend for the LEGO Batman game is actually higher than the Ryzen processor that Borderlands 4 recommends. But keep coming out and making these retarded ass defenses. An average gamer says, "Buy a console, bro." Ah yes, you should have to go out and buy a $500 console just to play one game that they couldn't bother to optimize on PC. This is totally a rational response, and not blind fanboyism. Layers Layer 2000 says, "Bro, those specs were like what now, 5-6 years ago? Move on, buddy, and get yourself a better PC." Those specs may be 5 to 6 years old, but they were higher end 5 to 6 years ago, and technology has not really advanced much in the past 5 to 6 years, with most of the improvements being done in the form of like AI programs such as DLSS, which they just lock behind the newer graphics cards. Also, just because the spec recommendations are 5 to 6 years old, that doesn't make them any less absurd for a LEGO game. Also, where's your defense of the 32 gigabytes of RAM recommendation? Leon says, "It's good news. This game will be huge," with 3 fire emojis. How is it good news that the game has absurdly high recommended specs? To me, that's bad news. It means they didn't optimize the game, not that the game will be huge. There are tons of huge games out there that are optimized very well. Anyway, those are all of the Twitter reactions that I wanted to go over by fanboys. Now let's go ahead and take a look at some comments from my previous video where I stated that devs can't even optimize LEGO games anymore. Epic Foxy YT says, "Dude, if you don't like it, then don't buy it." That's a great argument. I get this argument all the time whenever I complain about something with video games. Oh, if you don't like this in the game, don't buy it. If you don't like that in the game, don't buy it. I usually don't. I usually don't for the reasons that I complain about in my videos. He then adds, "Also don't make a video trying to get the LEGO franchise to stop making games. When did I say I don't want the LEGO franchise to make games? Everything that I complained about in my video was optimization related. I don't want them to stop making LEGO games. I want the LEGO games that they do make to be well optimized so that more people can play them. Also, it's not your channel, so you don't get to tell me what videos I can and cannot make. I'll make whatever the fuck I want." He then adds, "If people want to buy the games, then who do you think you are to stop them? I mean, I never said that you can't buy the game. I simply said that the optimization looks shitty." And judging by a lot of reactions on the internet at the moment, I'm definitely not the only one who feels this way. XTyler02 says, "Okay, so I get the point that PC is becoming more expensive, which is probably the biggest issue here. But seeing 2 of these videos now, you people aren't getting why they're using Unreal Engine 5 and not NTT. You literally had a screenshot of the Google AI answer and still misinterpreted the answer, making you the Wojak in your own thumbnail. NTT was not easy to use. They struggled for many reasons with Skywalker Saga, and the NTT engine was one of those reasons." Yeah, it's almost like I pointed out that Unreal Engine 4 was right there in my video. But such a huge increase in PC specs seems unwarranted. The thing is with LEGO Skywalker Saga is the fact that the game used an in-house engine that the devs were obviously very skilled with, instead of the incredibly hard to optimize Unreal Engine 5. I don't understand why they didn't use Unreal Engine 4. We're talking about a LEGO game. We don't really need the realistic lumen and nanite lighting or anything like that. LEGO games aren't meant to be photorealistic. And Unreal Engine 4 games can have great visuals on top of running way better than the majority of Unreal Engine 5 titles. Look at Stellar Blade. So if anybody is the Wojak here, it's you. Anyway, those are all the fanboy reactions I wanted to go over today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. If you didn't, leave a dislike and a mean comment. Alright, I'm out.